Hey guys, it's Jarek the Gaming Dragon doing some more Dirt 3. Haven't done some in quite a while. Anyway, I'm going to be doing the Meru Park Sprint. This is out in Kenya. As you saw my time there, I came in first place for this race. And here we go, we're starting. I love this car. This car is incredibly easy to steer and drive. Well, it's not that it's easy to steer and drive, it's just that it feels more like the cars did in Dirt 2. It handles just like the cars did in Dirt 2 in the dirt, opposed to the way the cars feel in Dirt 3. Not that they feel bad in Dirt 3, I've just gotten so accustomed to the way they worked in Dirt 2. And they haven't changed too much, but there's less... it's like there's less friction. They don't slide as near as much. Maybe it's a little bit more realistic, but I got so used to the way they worked in Dirt 2 that it's hard to go back to it. Anyway, this car is pretty cool looking, and it does work pretty well on the off-road. You wouldn't think it would work well on off-road, but apparently this car was made for hill climbs. So it is made for off-road. With that said, it does work better on the cement, on the asphalt, than it does in dirt. But it works fine either way, and I can control well. That's all that matters, really. So I'm playing on the hardest difficulty, and like I said, we're in Kenya, and I gotta say, these are probably my favorite races. It's not so much the environment, it's just that it's a lot of cool turns, a lot of either swooping turns or hairpin turns. Not a whole lot of hairpins, actually, just a lot of swooping turns. And a lot of straightaway and a lot of speed. It's not easy, but it's just not a whole lot of turns. It's more speed based than it is turn and drifting based. And I like drifting a lot, don't get me wrong. It's just, you know, when you're doing something called Trailblazer, you expect to really go fast. This is pretty much the equivalent to the Utah races in Dirt 2. So it's a lot of fun. So yeah, this is one of those games that just looks pretty damn good. Actually, I think I made a video quite a while ago in the snow in one of the Dirt 3 races just showing off how good this game looked. And I know with racing games it's pretty easy to make... So I kind of screwed that turn up a little bit. But I know in racing games it's pretty easy to make it look good just because you have a very set area of what you need to look well, and pretty much out of that area you just... Wherever the person can't see, it doesn't matter how it looks. And Dirt 3 doesn't really do that. They go out and beyond. And of course what you can't see, it doesn't really matter. But they do the hills in the backdrop. The whole environment really feels like a good environment. It actually feels like you were there. They got everything pretty well done. Along with the particle effects. Like if you look behind the car and look at the dirt flying behind the car, it looks pretty good. The only thing I really wish they could have done a little bit better is the... oh, I swung a little bit wide, hit my spoiler a tiny bit. It's all good. Keep going here. But yeah, the only thing I wish they did a little bit better on is just that the texture on the road itself is a little... It like doesn't change with the way the tires are. It doesn't... you get what I'm saying. The texture could be a little bit better there. Kind of fuck up on that turn too, but whatever. It's just they could have done better with the texture. But all in all, I can't complain too much. Dirt 3 is overall very good looking. So is Dirt 2. I think Dirt 3 they just made a little bit more improvements on Dirt 2. So I believe we're on the last straightaway through the water, and here's the end of the race. Alright, so here we are at the second race, and this is basically the same race but at night and in reverse. And as you can see, I shaved a few seconds off my time, so feeling pretty good about that one. I love that they added in the night, the weather changes and day and night in the Dirt 3. That's something that I really thought was missing in Dirt 2. And I just feel that they went the extra mile with Dirt 3 to really polish out the game. They added a lot of stuff, and my original verdict was I liked Dirt 2 better. But now that I played Dirt 3 a lot more, I gotta say Dirt 3 is in every single way better than the way Dirt 2 was. So I guess I take that back. I was wrong. I'm not afraid to admit it. Anyway, the thing that bothers me kind of about this game mode, and this isn't really about... This is nothing wrong with the game, more or less just something personal, is that with Trailblazer and rally races, or really anything that's more time-based than it is racing against your opponents. I know in rally races and in Trailblazer you're racing against the time that the other people have placed, but the primary objective is go as fast as possible, and I'm very competitive by nature. I like to win. Winning is fun. There's no way to go against that. Winning's fun. Who's going to argue there? And, you know, I'm pretty competitive. I don't let that get in the way of my sportsmanship. I really think in order to do sports in general, you have to have good sportsmanship, and just a lot of people don't meet that certain level of sportsmanship you should have in order to play. And it's sad, but it's true. And, you know, it bothers me a little bit, but whatever. Either way, I don't let it get in the way of that, but I'm very competitive and I like to win. And the thing with racing to time is that I feel that I always can do better. I feel almost perfectionist about it. where I just never feel happy about the time I put. I always feel that I can do that extra second faster, and it's true with anything I've done. With basketball, if I get a new career high, I scored 40 points this game. Well, the next game I can get 45. And baseball is I hit a home run, sweet. Well, next time I can hit 2. Pitching, I pitched, I struck out 9 people. Maybe I can strike out 10. I always try to bring it to the next level, and that's just the way I personally am. I like to be the best at things, and I guess that's why I'm pretty successful in certain ways, and why I always seem like I do very well. It's just it's pretty natural to act that way for myself, but at the same time, like I said before, you can't really let it get in the way of the way you treat other people. You gotta treat them with respect. Like, I see other competitors as peers that are competing against me, and all I have to do is do better than them, but I still treat them as a peer, as you should, and I absolutely hate it when people don't treat someone else the same way, as in the same game. It's sad when someone sees someone else that's competitive to them and they see them as an enemy instead of a love-hate relationship at all. They just see them as an enemy, and they'll trash talk them and hate them as much as they want, and it's just not meeting that certain level of sportsmanship that you should have in order to play. And I really think no one would ever do this, but I really think professional sports, like say the NBA, should imply rules about that. You can't step out of your boundaries, step over the line, but that would be against freedom of speech. No way you can do it. People are allowed to be idiots in America, unfortunately. There's just no way you can stop them. I'd fight for that right of freedom of speech, but it still bothers me. Anyway, here's the end of the race coming up, and I'll see you guys later.